May 8, 2013, Phoenix, Arizona. A woman sits in a courtroom smiling. She's just spent 4 months convincing a jury she's a victim. 18 days on the witness stand. Tears, trauma testimony, claims of abuse. Her lawyers told her she did great. The jury seemed sympathetic. She fixes her hair, smooths her blouse, prepares for what she thinks will be vindication. In 60 seconds, that smile will vanish, and the world will see what happens when a calculated liar meets undeniable evidence. But before we watch that smile disappear, you need to understand what led to this moment, and it starts 5 years earlier with a discovery that would shock an entire community. June 9, 2008, Mesa, Arizona. A group of friends arrive at a house on Queensboro Avenue. They're worried. Their friend Travis missed a business trip to Cancun. He never misses trips. The door's unlocked. The house is quiet. Too quiet. What they found inside would become one of the most sensational legal dramas in American history. Travis Alexander, 30 years old, found in his shower, 5 days dead. The scene told a story of rage, of betrayal, of someone who knew him intimately. 27 stab wounds, throat wound, gunshot to the head. But here's what didn't make sense. No forced entry, no broken windows, no kicked-in doors. Someone with a key, someone he trusted, someone he let into his home. Mesa Police Detective Esteban Flores processed the scene. What he found would crack this case wide open. Not just fingerprints, not just DNA, something better. A camera, submerged in a washing machine, with bloody clothes and bedding. Someone tried to destroy it, but forensics recovered everything. Time-stamped photos that told the entire story. 5:22 p.m. Intimate photos, both people clearly visible. 5:29 p.m. Travis in the shower, alive, relaxed, posing for someone he trusted. 5:30 p.m. An accidental ceiling shot. The camera dropped during struggle. 5:31 p.m. Travis on the bathroom floor. Life, leaving his body. 5:32 p.m. The most damning photo of all. We'll come back to that image, because it destroys every lie that follows. The physical evidence painted the full picture. A bloody palm print in the hallway. Mixed DNA. Travis's blood combined with Jodi Arias's palm print. A single strand of hair. DNA confirmed it belonged to Jodi. The question wasn't just who did this. Investigators knew who. The evidence was overwhelming. The question was why, and how someone could do something this violent, then lie about it for years. To understand June 4, 2008, you have to understand September 2006. That's when Travis Alexander met Jodi Arias, Las Vegas, a work conference for prepaid legal. Travis was a motivational speaker, successful, charismatic, devout Mormon planning his future. Jodi was 26, aspiring photographer, searching for purpose. The attraction was instant, but friends noticed something immediately. Jodi wasn't just interested, she was consumed. Within 1 week of meeting Travis, she ended a 4-year relationship, moved her entire focus to this man she barely knew. And here's the pattern that should have been a warning. Jodi had dated men of different religions before. Each time she adopted their beliefs completely. Buddhist boyfriend? She practiced Buddhism. Someone into witchcraft? She tried that too. With Travis? She converted to Mormonism. November 2006. Jodi was baptized into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But friends questioned her sincerity. This wasn't spiritual searching. This was molding herself into what Travis wanted. And it worked. For a while. They dated officially for 9 months. September 2006 to June 2007. But here's where it gets complicated. Mormon law of chastity. No intimacy before marriage. Both Travis and Jodi violated this, repeatedly, in secret. Travis felt conflicted between his faith and his desires. Jodi saw it differently. She saw leverage. June 29, 2007. Travis ends the relationship. Tells his friends it's over. Jodi was too intense, too jealous, too controlling, but it wasn't over, not even close. They continued a physical relationship in secret, and Jodi did something that should have been a massive red flag. She moved to Arizona. From Eureka, California to Mesa, closer to Travis. Got a job waiting tables. Cleaned his house for extra money. While Travis started dating other women openly. And that's when the stalking escalated. December 2007. Travis's tires slashed, twice in 1 month. Email accounts hacked repeatedly. Friends reported seeing Jody following Travis on dates with other women. She climbed through his doggy door at night. Slept on his couch uninvited. Watched him through windows. Sent threatening messages to women he dated. Travis confided all of this to his friends. They warned him. Told him she was dangerous. Begged him to get a restraining order. And here's the critical detail. Travis never reported any of this to police. He was embarrassed. Thought he could handle it. Told friends she was harmless, just emotional. His friends disagreed. January 2008. Travis sent Jody an email. "You are the worst thing that ever happened to me." He called her sociopathic, told her to stay away, but she didn't. Spring 2008. Travis made plans. Cancun trip with Mimi Hall. Not a romantic relationship, but he was moving on, excited about the future. Told friends he was finally putting Jody behind him. Jody learned about it, and that's when everything changed. May 28, 2008. Jody's grandparents in Eureka, California report a .25 caliber pistol stolen from their home. Jody was staying there at the time. She's the one who reported it stolen. Establishing an alibi? Prosecutors would later argue yes. June 2nd, 2008. Jody rents a car, not in her hometown of Eureka, 90 miles away in Redding, California. Why drive 90 miles to rent a car? To avoid being tracked. She requests a light-colored car specifically. She removes the front license plate. She rents extra gas cans, fills them before entering Arizona. Why? To avoid gas station surveillance cameras showing her in Arizona. She turns off her cell phone before crossing state lines. Everything calculated. Everything planned. June 3rd into June 4th. Jody drives 14 hours from California to Mesa, Arizona. She arrives around 1 a.m. Travis's roommates are asleep. No one knows she's there. No record of her being in the state. No gas station footage. No cell phone pings. She thought she'd planned the perfect crime. And in approximately 16 hours, Travis Alexander will be dead. What happened on June 4th? We know from the photos, from the evidence, from forensics. They spent the day together. No witnesses saw her. The house was quiet. Roommates came and went, unaware she was there. 5:22 p.m. Intimate photos begin. Faces visible. Time stamped. Both present. Both participating. 5:29 p.m. Shower photos. Travis posing. Vulnerable. Trusting the person behind the camera. He's relaxed. Smiling in some shots. Has no idea what's about to happen. 5:30 p.m. Everything changes. The medical examiner's testimony would later reveal the sequence. The first wound, then the fight. Defensive injuries on Travis's hands. He tried to protect himself. He fought back, but the attack didn't stop. Multiple wounds to his back, to his chest. Deep wounds, some 3 inches deep. The medical examiner called it one of the most violent scenes he'd examined. This level of violence indicates one thing: personal rage. Not fear, not self-defense. Rage. The rage of someone rejected, someone replaced, someone who believed if she couldn't have him, no one could. After it was over, Jody dragged his body 20 feet down the hallway, back into the shower, attempted to clean the blood. But blood spatter is impossible to fully remove. It soaks into grout, into crevices. Forensics would find it all. She put the camera in the washing machine with bloody clothes and bedding, ran the wash cycle, tried to destroy the evidence. Then she left. Around 6:30 p.m. and drove to Utah to see Ryan Burns, another romantic interest she'd been cultivating. She arrived at his place around 10 p.m., 15 hours late. Her excuse? I got lost. Ryan noticed cuts on her hands, a bandage on her finger. Her explanation? Broke a glass at work. They spent the evening together, kissed, cuddled, talked about the future. She acted completely normal. No emotional distress, no guilt, no fear, just performance. And that's when the lying began in earnest. June 6th through June 8th. Jody called Travis's phone, left cheerful voicemails. "Hey, it's me. Just wanted to say hi. Call me back when you get this." She called mutual friends. "Have you heard from Travis? I'm getting worried. It's not like him not to call back." Building a false timeline, establishing that she didn't know anything was wrong. But investigators knew better. June 19th, 2008. Detective Esteban Flores brings Jody in for questioning at the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office in California. This is where it gets fascinating, because Jody doesn't lawyer up, doesn't ask for an attorney. She's confident. She thinks she's smarter than the detective, thinks she can talk her way out of this. First story. I wasn't there. Last saw Travis in April. I have no idea what happened to him. The photos proved that was a lie. Timestamps. Her face clearly visible. Detective Flores confronts her with the evidence. Your palm print. In his blood. In his hallway. Jody. I don't know how that's possible. Maybe someone planted it? Your hair. At the scene. DNA confirmed. Jody. I lived there before. My hair could have been there from months ago. Your face. In photos. With him. On June 4th. And this is where something bizarre happens. The interrogation footage shows Jody alone in the room. She's not crying, not panicking. She stands up, walks to the wall, and does a headstand. For 30 seconds. Then she starts singing. Songs about memory. About being somewhere else. She checks her appearance in the mirror, fixes her hair, mumbles to herself. This is someone who just learned she's a murder suspect. And she's doing yoga and performing for a camera she knows is recording. Zero genuine emotion. Zero fear. Just calculated performance. But the lies weren't over. Not even close. July 15th, 2008. Jody is arrested on her 29th birthday. She's extradited to Arizona. And then she starts telling a completely different story. September 24th, 2008. Jody gives an interview to Inside Edition, national television, and she changes her entire story. New claim, I was there. But two masked intruders broke in, a man and a woman. They attacked Travis. I witnessed it. They threatened me, said they'd kill my family if I told anyone. That's why I didn't call police. She describes them in detail, what they wore, what they said, how they moved. The problem? Zero evidence of any of this. No forced entry. No signs of struggle at entry points. No second set of fingerprints. No witnesses seeing anyone else. Blood spatter analysis showed a single attacker. Forensic pathologists confirmed the pattern of wounds came from one person. But Jody stuck with the intruder story for 2 years, did media interviews, maintained her innocence, even made a prediction. No jury will convict me. Mark my words on that. Then August 2010, 2 years after her arrest. Jody's legal team changes strategy. Third story. Final story. The one she'll take to trial. Self-defense. Claims Travis was abusive for years. Psychological abuse. Physical abuse. He controlled her, degraded her, hurt her. Day of his death. He attacked me after I dropped his camera. He said he was going to kill me. I feared for my life. Everything went black. I grabbed the gun. I don't remember most of what happened. The knife just kept going. This is the story the jury would hear for 18 days straight. January 2nd, 2013. The trial began, and it immediately became a media sensation. HLN broadcast it live, gavel to gavel, unedited. 2.5 million viewers tuning in daily. More viewers than some primetime shows. People lined up outside the courthouse at 5 a.m., camping out for a chance at one of the limited public gallery seats. The trial wasn't just news. It became entertainment. Prosecutor Juan Martinez opened with a devastating strategy. He didn't start with the evidence. He started with the lies. 3 different stories. 3 completely different versions of what happened on June 4th. First, I wasn't there. Second, masked intruders did it. Third, self-defense after years of abuse. Which one is true? Martinez asked. And if she lied the first 2 times, Why should we believe the third version? The defense had their work cut out for them. They needed to paint Travis as an abuser, make the jury believe Jodi was a victim who finally snapped. Their strategy: years of psychological and physical abuse. Jodi stayed because of trauma bonding, PTSD. On June 4th, she finally fought back. The problem? Zero corroboration. No medical records documenting injuries. No police reports. No witnesses to abuse. No friends confirming the pattern. Only Jodi's word. And Jodi had already proven she was willing to lie, repeatedly, on television, to police, to anyone who would listen. February 4th, 2013. Jodi made a decision that shocked legal observers. Against the advice of most defense attorneys, she took the stand. She would testify in her own defense. Tell her story directly to the jury. Make them see her as a victim, not a murderer. This was a massive gamble, and it would last 18 days. The longest defendant testimony in Arizona history. The direct examination was a carefully choreographed performance. Soft voice, downcast eyes, tears at the right moments. Jodi described the relationship in detail, the good times, the religious conflict, then the alleged abuse. She provided specific dates, specific incidents, graphic details about their intimate relationship, claims about Travis's behavior, things he allegedly said, things he allegedly did. But notice the pattern. Her memory was crystal clear for all the alleged abuse. She could recall conversations word for word, remember exact dates, describe specific events in minute detail. But when it came to June 4th, when it came to the actual attack, everything went black. I was in a fog. There are gaps in my memory. The knife just kept going, but I don't remember stabbing him. Selective memory, convenient amnesia. She could remember everything except the one thing that mattered most. 18 days of this, building sympathy, playing the victim, crying on command. And then Juan Martinez stood up for cross-examination. This is where the performance fell apart. Martinez didn't yell, didn't grandstand. He simply asked questions, direct questions, questions that exposed the inconsistencies. You have memory problems when it's convenient, correct? You can remember explicit details about your intimate relationship, but you can't remember stabbing someone 27 times? He showed her journal entries she wrote while allegedly being abused. Travis is wonderful. I'm so happy. I have a beautiful life. Jodi's response? I was lying in my journal to protect Travis. Martinez. So you lied in a private journal that nobody would read? You lied to yourself? He caught her in dozens of contradictions. Small ones, large ones. Times she claimed one thing in earlier interviews and changed it on the stand. And then came the photo evidence, the evidence that destroyed everything. Remember that 5:32 p.m. photo, the one taken during the attack? The photo shows Jodi's pant leg, shows the floor, shows her dragging Travis's body down the hallway. Martinez had the forensic team analyze every photo from that day. The intimate photos from earlier? Jodi wasn't wearing pants. She was undressed. But in the dragging photo taken just minutes later, she's wearing pants. Meaning, sometime between the intimate photos and the attack, Jodi got dressed. If you're acting in self-defense, in a panic, in a fog, fighting for your life, you don't stop to get dressed. You don't pause to put on pants. You don't plan your outfit for self-defense. She dressed before the attack. She knew what was coming. She prepared for it. Premeditation. Martinez presented this evidence methodically, showed the timestamps, showed the clothing. Let the jury draw their own conclusion. You could see it on their faces. The realization. Everything she'd said was unraveling. The trial continued for weeks. More witnesses. More evidence. Travis's friends testified. Described him as kind. Generous. Never saw him be violent. Never saw signs of the abuse Jodi claimed. They described Jodi's obsession. The stalking. The threats. How they warned Travis she was dangerous. The medical examiner testified again, described Travis's final moments. The wounds indicate he was conscious. He knew what was happening. He suffered. Forensic experts testified about the crime scene, the blood spatter patterns, the evidence of cleanup attempts, the camera in the washing machine. Defense experts tried to counter. A psychologist diagnosed Jodi with PTSD, said it explained her memory gaps. But under cross-examination, Martinez asked, "How can you diagnose someone who's lied repeatedly? How do you know she's telling the truth now?" The psychologist admitted, "I can't be 100% certain." May 2, 2013. Closing arguments began. Martinez: "She's a liar. She's lied to you repeatedly. She's changed her story 3 times. The evidence doesn't lie. The photos don't lie. The blood doesn't lie. She planned this. She executed it. And then she tried to cover it up. That's not self-defense. That's murder." Defense: "Even if you don't like Jodi, even if you think she's made mistakes, you have to consider the abuse she endured. She was a victim who finally fought back. That's manslaughter at most, not murder." May 3rd. The jury got the case. 15 hours of deliberation across 3 days. And on May 8, 2013, they reached a verdict. This is the moment we opened with. 1:49 p.m., May 8, 2013. The courtroom is packed beyond capacity. Media everywhere. Travis's family in one section, Jodi's family in another. The tension is suffocating. Jodi enters with her legal team. And there it is. The smile. She's fixed her hair, done her makeup. Looks confident, composed. She truly believes she convinced them. 18 days on the stand. All those tears, all that testimony. Surely they understood. Surely they believed her. The judge asks everyone to rise. The jury files in. Not one of them looks at Jodi. That's never a good sign. When a jury can't look at a defendant, they've convicted them. But Jodi doesn't seem to notice. The foreperson hands the verdict to the bailiff.
Ladies and gentlemen, I understand you have reached a verdict. The verdict form has been handed to the bailiff. Please come forward. Clerk will read and record the verdict.
The State of Arizona versus Jodi Ann Arias, verdict, count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action upon our oaths, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder, guilty. 5 jurors find premeditated, 0 find...
Bailiff hands it to the judge. Judge Sherry Stevens reads it silently. Her face reveals nothing. She hands it to the clerk. The room is absolutely silent. You could hear breathing. The clerk begins. In the matter of the State of Arizona versus Jodi Ann Arias, case number CR 2008-031021, we the jury, duly impaneled and sworn upon our oaths, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder. A pause. It feels like an eternity. Guilty. Watch her face in that moment. The smile doesn't just fade, it collapses. Color drains from her face like someone pulled a plug. Her mouth opens slightly. No sound comes out. Her eyes go wide, staring straight ahead. Her lawyers reach for her arms, try to steady her. She doesn't move. She's frozen. The clerk continues. Premeditated first-degree murder. Guilty. 18 days of testimony. Years of lies. All gone in one word. The gallery erupts. People cheering. Quickly silenced by the judge. Travis's family. 5 years of waiting. 5 years of hearing lies about their brother. 5 years of Jodi playing victim. They're crying. Hugging each other. Relief washing over them. Outside the courthouse, crowds have gathered. When word spreads that the verdict is guilty, people start cheering. Chanting. Justice for Travis. Justice for Travis. It's a media circus, but for Travis's family, it's vindication. Inside, Jodi is escorted out, walking mechanically, no expression. The confident smile is gone, completely erased. But Jodi wasn't done performing, not quite yet. That evening, A local Fox affiliate gets a jailhouse interview. Jody agrees to speak just hours after being convicted of first-degree murder, and what she says is stunning. "I believe death is the ultimate freedom. I'd rather die than spend decades in prison. Longevity runs in my family. I don't want to be locked up for 40 or 50 years." She talks about wanting to donate her hair, start a recycling program in jail, teach other inmates. Zero mention of Travis. Zero remorse for what she did. Zero acknowledgement of his family's pain. Everything about her. Still performing. Still controlling the narrative she thinks she can manage. Public outrage intensifies. This woman just took a life. Violently. And she's talking about hair donation and recycling programs? But the legal process wasn't over. May 15th, 2013. The aggravation phase.
Will begin tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Please be here at 12:45. Between now and then, the admonition continues to apply. Do not speak about this case. Do not view any media about this case. Are there any questions? You are excused.
The jury must decide, was the murder committed in an especially cruel manner? The medical examiner returns, testifies again. Travis was conscious during the attack. He felt the wounds. He knew he was dying. The throat wound came last. He suffered. The jury deliberates for 1 hour. Verdict. Unanimous. Yes, especially cruel. Jodi Arias is now death penalty eligible. The penalty phase begins. Should she be executed or get life in prison? But this jury deadlocks. 8 for death, 4 for life. No unanimous decision. Mistrial in the penalty phase. Arizona law requires a new jury for penalty phase retrial. October 2014. A second penalty phase jury is seated. Months of testimony. Again, they deadlock. This time 11 for death, 1 holdout for life. Second mistrial. Arizona law is clear. After 2 jury deadlocks, the judge decides. April 13th, 2015. Final sentencing hearing. Travis's family is allowed to speak. Impact statements. And they're devastating. His sisters, his brothers, describing the trauma, the nightmares, the loss, how their lives were shattered. One sister speaks directly to Jodi, references her own journal entry where she once wrote, "Whoever killed Travis deserves to die." "What happened to that, Jodi?" she asks through tears. Another describes the harassment from Jodi's supporters, people sending autopsy photos to her Facebook, photos of her brother's body. "I never thought we'd be victimized twice." Judge Stevens listens, takes notes. She has 2 options: life with possibility of parole after 25 years, or natural life without any possibility of parole. She considers everything: the brutality of the crime, the lies, the manipulation, the complete lack of genuine remorse. Her decision: natural life, no parole, ever. Jodi Arias will die in prison. She's transported to Arizona State Prison Complex in Perryville, maximum security, where she remains today. Appeals were filed, claims of prosecutorial misconduct. The prosecutor, Juan Martinez, was later disbarred for unethical conduct in other matters. But even with his misconduct, the Arizona Court of Appeals reviewed the case in 2020. Their ruling? Notwithstanding egregious and self-promoting misconduct by the prosecutor, Arias was convicted based upon the overwhelming evidence of her guilt. The conviction stands. The Arizona Supreme Court declined to review the case. It's over. So what happened to that confident smile? The one that said she'd outsmarted everyone. The one that said 18 days of testimony had worked. The one that said the jury believed her victim story. It disappeared, just like Travis. Just like her freedom, just like any chance she ever had of walking out of that courtroom. Because here's what Jodi Arias never understood. You can manipulate people with words. You can craft stories. You can change your version of events. You can perform for cameras. You can testify for 18 days straight. But you can't manipulate a camera that captured everything. You can't manipulate time-stamped photographs showing you got dressed before the attack. You can't manipulate blood spatter analysis that proves it was one attacker driven by rage. You can't manipulate forensic evidence that contradicts every story you told. And you can't manipulate a jury that saw through every single lie. Travis Alexander was 30 years old. He was a motivational speaker who helped people find success. He was a big brother who mentored his siblings. He was a friend who showed up for people. He had dreams, plans, a future he was excited about. Jodi Arias took all of that in approximately 60 seconds of rage, and then she spent 5 years lying about it. 3 different stories. 3 completely different versions of what happened. The jury saw the truth. The evidence revealed the truth. And justice finally was served. The smile is gone. The lies are exposed. The verdict is final. Natural life in prison. No parole. No release. No second chances. Jodi Arias will die behind bars. And that confident smile she wore walking into the courtroom that day? It's never coming back.